And we welcome you back into Dodger Poke Report for the very first edition of the Dodger Poke Down on the Farm Low A Rancho Cucamonga edition. Every Tuesday, we are going to release a new edition for Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Great Lakes, and Rancho Cucamonga. This video in particular is for Low A Rancho Cucamonga specifically. So we're going to talk about all of the exciting action for the Quakes in the last week. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right to it. If you're going to talk about the Quakes, you got to start with Damion Keith, who was the player of the month last month, I should say. And we know he can hit. I mean, he has a big-time hit tool. He's hitting .310 with an OPS of .964. But I wanted to show you just how well he can throw the baseball, too. Watch him from his right field position. Very mechanically sound, fields the ball, throws it on a frozen rope, one hop to the catcher, Yanir Fernandez, and gets the out at home plate. So Damion Keith can do more than just hit. We know he can hit .310 again with an OPS of .964, but he can also play defense, and he has the big arm. When you're talking about low A prospects like Rojo Gutierrez, a lot of times it's just a matter of just getting introduced to who they are. So let's meet Rojo Gutierrez, who is a 19-year-old from Guasave, Sinaloa, Mexico. So he is from Sinaloa, Mexico. He played in the DSL, the Dominican Summer League, last year in 2021. And then about halfway through, he got moved stateside. Not halfway through, but in August, he got moved stateside and ended up playing or finishing 21 in the complex league that they have there in Arizona. So he finished 2021 in the States, and then he started this year and is pitching this year with Low A Rancho Cucamonga and is doing a good job. So here's Rojo Gutierrez. This is Alex Dejesus, a left side infielder. He plays some shortstop. I think he probably long-term profiles as a third baseman, but what he does, he hits, and he hits a lot. He had a 3-hit night Saturday night. He's been hot, and at the time Saturday night, he had a 4-game hitting streak. He was 7 for his last 17, 2 doubles, a home run, 7 RBIs, 13 total bases in his last 4 games. So this young kid from the Dominican Republic who plays shortstop and third base can hit. He hits well. He plays good defense. So an exciting young prospect for the Low A Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. If you think you're seeing the second coming of Madison Bumgarner, Ronald Copp sure looks like him, doesn't he? And Copp, boy, he is a very talented young left-handed hitter. He throws what he likes to call velo donuts. You know, he's in that mid-90s range, and he's wanting to get his velocity up to the 100-mile-an-hour range, and he probably will someday. But he is spot on with this slider. He had a very good outing Saturday. He throws that slider, as you see in this video, both to the back foot, right there, there's that back foot slider, and then also to the back door, and then also away from barrels. So Ronald Copp has good velo. He has mid-90s velo, as we see on that 4-seam there. He has the good slider, and he is very, very good. So a very exciting, big, young, left-handed prospect in the Dodgers organization that is with Low A Rancho Cucamonga right now. A lot of energy, too. So a lot of exciting energy for the young left-hander, Ronald Copp. You're looking at Ben Casper, who is a right-handed pitcher out of Yukon who has some of the nastiest stuff of anybody in the organization. Look at that slider that just gets underneath the left-handed swing. That is a nasty pitch with serious depth coming out of Yukon. He is one of those young men that I'm just telling you, if you had to hit against him in an inter squad in Connecticut, look at that changeup with the tumble and fade to it, and it was 30-some-odd degrees outside, and you knew he was pitching. There's that slider again. You would figure out a way to come up with some kind of nagging injury to not have to face him, because his stuff is absolutely electric. It is dirty. He went 5 innings Saturday for Rancho. This is the performance that I'm talking about, where he struck out 8 and he walked just 1. So he struck out 8 Saturday, walked just 1. So keep an eye out on Ben Casper. This young man has stuff that will play at every single level. I'm telling you, his stuff is dirty. Well, I don't have to tell you. Just watch for yourself. Look at that fastball with the late life to the arm side. And then we saw the slider and the tumbling changeup. There's the slider again. So Ben Casper has a lot of stuff, so keep an eye on him. I have talked to teammates of Kenneth Benitez, who you're seeing on your screen in this video, and he is one of the most well-liked and well-respected players in the entire organization. I have a video on my Twitter feed of him making a great play from his second base position. So go to the Dodger Poke Report Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, whatever social media platform you use. It is on all of those. You can check out a great play from Kenneth Benitez, but he can also hit too. And in this game, he had 2 hits, and this is a game from Friday. At that time, he had hits in 7 of his last 9 games. That was a stretch that included 3 doubles, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs, and 21 total bases. So this is a pretty electric young player who has, he has that the it factor as far as just being a great teammate. His teammates love playing for him. They respect him totally. So a great young man, totally fits the Dodger culture in the sense that he's a great person first and a great player second, Kenneth Benitez. As we did with Rojo Gutierrez, just want to introduce you to a good young right-handed pitcher in the Dodgers organization for Low A Rancho Cucamonga, Edison Enriquez. Very good pitcher, and he is a 19-year-old out of Venezuela. He has a 3.26 ERA on the year. This performance that you're seeing, he pitched 4 scoreless innings, and he was featuring a fastball that was, it reached 98, and he has a good slider. So a lot of stuff for this young man, a live young arm. There's the slider to pair with his 98-mile-an-hour fastball. So a good look at the young Venezuelan prospect, pitching prospect. There's that riding 98 four-seam up in the zone in Edison Enriquez. And yes, the catcher here is the #1 prospect in the Dodgers organization, and that would be Diego Cartaya. And we are going to get to him on the next slide. As promised, here is the Dodgers' #1 prospect overall of any position in the organization, Diego Cartaya. This is video from the game last Friday in which he had 2 hits, including a loud double that came just inches away from being a home run off of the left center field wall. At that time, he had 11 hits in his last 12 games, and during that stretch, that 12-game stretch, there's that double we talked about just a minute ago. He was 16 for 46, which is a 347 average. He had 2 doubles, 5 home runs, 13 RBIs, and 33 total bases in those 12 games. So here's that long double, as we should say, just went right off the top of the wall from Diego Cartaya. So there is some video of the Dodgers' #1 prospect, a catcher. I do have video on my Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, whichever social media platform you use, of him playing defense. I have video of him throwing a runner out. I have other videos of him playing defense and hitting. So for everything that you could possibly want and need from Diego Cartaya, you can visit Dodger Poke on all the social media platforms. But there is the #1 prospect for the Dodgers, Diego Cartaya. I hope that you enjoyed the very first edition of the Dodger Poke Down on the Farm, the Low A Rancho Cucamonga edition. Each week, again, we will release a new edition. Next Tuesday, we'll release our second edition of the Dodger Poke Down on the Farm for Rancho Cucamonga, the Low A affiliate for the LA Dodgers. I also hope that you visit Dodger Poke on the internet. Just go to DodgerPokeReport.com or visit Dodger Poke on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. This will be a podcast, so go to your podcast streaming service of your choice, search Dodger Poke Report, and then look for the Down on the Farm and just figure out whichever team you want or listen to them all. We have one for Oklahoma City, we have one for Tulsa, we have one for High A Great Lakes, and we have one for Rancho Cucamonga. We have one separately for each level, so go to your podcast streaming service of your choice, search Dodger Poke Report, look for Dodger Poke Down the Farm, and it is right there for you. And don't forget to subscribe, so every time Dodger Poke releases a new edition of whatever it may be, it might be an interview of Ryan Pepio, of which we're going to interview tomorrow. It might be another Dodger Poke Down the Farm. But if you subscribe, you will get notified every single time a new edition is released. I'm glad that you've tuned in to another edition of the Dodger Poke Down the Farm. As always, go Dodgers.